coaches receive accolades because of their players. And when their players buy in, I call it totally compelled, you have the potential to do some special things if they buy in.
Welcome to the Jamodi Podcast, where we interview coaches and leaders to find out not just what they do, but how they do what they do. Becoming the best version of ourselves is Jamodi, just a matter of doing it. Today we're joined by legendary basketball coach J.D. Mayo. After 46 years of coaching, Coach Mayo retired in 2017 with 808 wins. He was the head coach at Dallas Skyline High School for 33 years and owns the record for most wins in Dallas ISD history. Coach Mayo was named National High School Basketball Coach of the Year in 2000. In 2019, Coach was inducted into the Texas High School Basketball Hall of Fame. Before we hear from Coach Mayo, take a moment to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on social media at Jamodi Podcast.
I can't believe it.
Hey, Coach.
Amazing. Good afternoon.
How are you?
Oh, just wonderful and peachy.
Yeah.
It's a great day to be alive.
Yes, sir. Man, first of all, I just want to thank you so much for doing this with me, giving up your time and, giving back to me and coaches and with all of your knowledge and experience. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure, and I'm so glad to do this with you. I remember watching you play in high school and in college. And in fact, I think I got to coach you one time.
Yes, sir. That's right. In an all-star game. That was awesome.
San Antonio, Texas.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah, I have fond memories of you and your book. Really enjoyed your book.
No. Well, and thanks, Coach.
And the influence you've had as well. You're doing it the right way, and that's what's important.
I appreciate that. Trying to embrace the process of all this and then find ways to give back, but then continue to learn. One thing always, so I've watched you, I've gotten to know you over the years, but then also I watch you at places. So if you go to a clinic or somewhere, I'm always amazed you have either a kind of a satchel or like a briefcase, a bag, but then inside of it is yellow notepads. And when I'm sitting, listening to the same speaker as you, and I catch my pen not going, and I look over, and you're scribbling away, getting as much down as you can. And I mean, your habits in that way just have always blown me away.
Well, you're kind. I take notes about everywhere I go because this is quite a learning process. Yes, we never get it all.
Yes, sir.
Always need to try to, wherever we're at on that ladder, we just try to get better with what we have, because God wants us to give our best. And as Coach Wooden, he defines success as giving your best. Yeah. He said that success is having a peace of mind that you've given your best. That pyramid that he uses.
Yes, sir.
That was the first coaching book that I purchased. Was Coach Wooden's. It's like 1971.
Nice. But
yeah.
There's enough in there to set you straight and help you to build a program and to help work with kids. That's great stuff.
Yes. Well, he was quite if I'm not mistaken, I believe ESPN named him the coach of the 20th century of all coaches.
Yeah.
Just a godly man who he loved everybody. And on one of my bucket lists was to spend a little time with him. And I was, he'd come to Dallas and speak, and I'd shake his hand, talk briefly. But at both of the McDonald's All-American games, I just happened to have a seat right next to him. One was in Larry's was 1987 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and C.J. Miles was like 2005 at Notre Dame, and I just couldn't believe it. There he was.
So both of those times, just give me a little bit. What was it like, kind of sitting next to him? What was it like?
Oh, I had chill bumps on my body, because I did have a lot of respect for him. And, it's good to have respect for everybody, but, he was kind of in a class by himself, the way that he, did things with his, different habits and practices. And it was a true honor to be able to sit next to him and just talk about life. And his wife died in the 80s, and when he'd send gifts and cards after she passed, he signed his name and her name. Then he would write love letters to her and put them under her pillow.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the spirit of excellence.
Yeah, I never knew that. That's a cool story. And yeah, that's one thing I'm so excited to get to talk with you. And I've always had so much respect for you and the person that you are, but then also, the coach and the experience. So it's cool hearing stories about like guys like Coach Wooden, but guys like Coach Thomas and you.
Oh, yes.
Like you're kind of like for that next generation for us. Like I'm not saying you're John Wooden. I'm not saying, but you to me, like guys like you and Coach Thomas, you are at that level of when we get to talk with you, I would imagine it would feel somewhat like what you felt. And so again, just a lot of gratitude here for you wanting to do this and giving up your time.
Well, thank you so very much. And as you well know, coaches receive accolades because of their players. And when their players buy in, I call it totally compelled, you have the potential to do some special things if they buy in. And without that buy-in and without relationships, with the players, and more than just a player, they're a person.
Yep.
They have
to
buy. And so being a double goal coach, GOAL, you not only coach them in hoops, but you coach them in life. And the most important thing to me is relationships. And if I had to summarize the good book, which I'm not a theologian, but I love the Lord, it would be relationship with the Lord and relationship with people.
Yeah.
That would be the one word that stands out to me is relationships.
So all of those years of coaching, this may be difficult to think about the one thing that made your programs different, because every year, even though standards are the same, you'll have different players, they'll have different needs. But if you could think to one thing over the years that made your programs different, what do you think that would be?
Relationship would be huge, because we wanted to develop relationships, not with just our players, students. I call them by name, give them high fives, greet them with a hello. I'd greet them with, a one word like joy, peace. Billy Bob comes in and it might be happiness. The next one, it might be love. And so you're planting these seeds, or I did. I planted seeds, and I was always really concerned about the relationships of calling them away from the gym, like on a weekend, or maybe the Christmas break or spring break, just staying in touch, that it was more than just basketball, because I really wanted to be a double goal coach, where you not only coached them in the hoops, but you also coached them for life. And we would have these talking points. And I learned that from like FCA and Zig Ziglar and Positive Coaching Alliance. I just tried to learn, because I was a rookie, still quite a bit of a rookie, just trying to navigate things and make things work. And but I think the relationships, and you know, you can't really have a relationship if you don't get to know somebody.
Right.
You know, that's huge. And I don't know where I got this from, but I picked up from somebody else. I mean, I didn't invent it. It was called A Short Course in Human Relations, How to Get Along with People. And there were 6 items, and I just call them the 6 be quicks. If you want to get along with others, this is a way, not the only way, but these are 6 real important things that you might want to consider doing to be able to get along with people. And if you can't get along with your boss, you may not have a job.
Not long.
No, you need to learn to, and it helped change my life when I understood how important people skills. But it all goes back to relationships, and those 6 be quicks. Those probably helped me more than it helped what I was teaching to the children.
Can you go through some of those 6 if they come to mind?
Oh, absolutely. The first one, this is a killer for most men in general, because, you know, boys and men in general, we have a tendency to be just a tad scummy. You know, we can be real arrogant, obnoxious. We really think we're something like real special. Mm-hmm. And what I tried to do is to teach our students that they were fearfully and wonderfully created. I wouldn't say by God. I'd use code words like, you were fearfully and wonderfully created by the big coach, or a famous person said this or said that. And remember, I'm in a public school.
Right.
So I wanted to navigate all that, although I had the support of the principal. All the principals that I worked for, they were so supportive. But that first be quick was it goes like this: says, I admit I made a mistake.
That's number 1.
Oh, and I tell you, to be able to apologize for a male species, to apologize, admit a mistake, ask for forgiveness, then just move on. See, all that's hard to do, mm-hmm. in my opinion. You really have to work at it. The second be quick is you did a great job. Just encourage people. So if you're an encourager, like Barnabas was in the good book, not much was written about Barnabas, except he was an encourager. And so when you can compliment others, find things to compliment, be intentional. Yeah. And that's what I try to do in the classroom, in the hallways, in the gym. I would try to find things to compliment the kids, you know, individually, call their names every day. And I'd call them, you know, the names they wanted to be called as well, except for a couple of them. It was pretty cute. But anyway, that admit I made a mistake, that was the first one. You did a great job being encouragers, the second one. And to seek advice. I call it, what is your opinion? To always, because things are going to come up in life, and you need to be able, and that's what I teach the children as well, and the players and students, is have people that you can talk to, whether it's the counselor, the teacher, your grandmother, whoever it is. Just have people that you have a trust in, that you can talk to. You know, one of the main, I think I've read things that happen with suicides is that they lose hope. They just lose hope, and they become isolated. But I just really encouraged our students to really to just seek advice and get, you know, the wise person learns from their own mistakes, but the wiser person learns from other people's mistakes. And so I'd give them those kind of things to think about, and I'd also have them to write things down. You know, that's what I do. I write it down, and so I'd have them to take notes. And uh, uh, and just encourage them to get along with others. That next be quick. This is so powerful too. And this is what I taught our students and players. The first thing that you do when you get home to see your mom, whoever's taking care of you, say, I love you. Love.
Yeah.
Oh, man. What the world needs is love, and more
Yes,
love.
Sir.
In fact, that should be like in 1 Corinthians 14:1, it says that it ought to be our highest goal is to love. It's just most important. And I wouldn't give them a whole lot to go with it, but there's a whole lot to be said about love because it's so powerful. And I can remember my dear mother in East Texas, before she passed, I'd taken her to the little country church that I talked to you about, that I discovered my purpose at an altar of prayer. Well, my great-grandparents started that church turn of the century. And so later in life, I committed to her to take her to church at least once a month to that little country church. And one of those times we had left, and she loved everything about Sundays, just everything about it. She had a bus ministry in the 50s, early 60s, without a bus, without a phone. She'd just drive the country, drop off the 4 kids, and she'd pick up people. She just loved everything about it. Huh. In fact, there's a song written about my mom. It's entitled, she told me one time, son, there's just not enough Sundays in the week anymore. So a friend of mine who's a songwriter and a recording artist, he wrote a song, Not Enough Sundays. It's a true story about my mom through my eyes. But what I was going to tell you about love, we'd left the church, driving down old Mayo Road, little country rough road, and she said, son, I just want you to know I love everybody that you love. I looked at my mom and I said, repeat that again. East Texas slang, we'd say, explain that again. And so she said, I love everybody that you love. And I said, explain that to me. And so she talked about how I was, when Christ was on the cross, I was on his mind. Yeah. And you were on his mind. Coach Saban was on his mind. And she said, I just have a deep love for you. Whew. Wow. And I said, but you know, Mom, you don't know everybody I know. She said, that's the point. Because I love you so much. I love them, and I don't even know them. Wow. That was strong.
Yes, sir.
Strong. And, you know, if you don't have love, everything you say is really, you know, if you don't have love, it's meaningless.
Yeah.
Without love, it just doesn't work very well. If you're a coach, a teacher, a parent, you know, whatever it is, it's just incomplete, in my opinion, if you don't do it. And I hadn't always, you know, I make mistakes as well.
Yeah.
A lot of mistakes, and I'm still learning, but I am trying to get better. And love is so important with that. The next, be quick. This is a great one too. It's 2 words. Be quick to say thank you, to show appreciation, gratitude. Because thank you is, in fact, we teach our players and students to do thankfuls every day. Do at least like 3 thankfuls every day. At least tell 3 people every day. And when you go home to your dear mom or granny or parents, the 5 words that you need to say to them is, I love you and thank you for all you do. And it's amazing. If you have a lot of love in your heart and you're thankful, and of course the scriptures, it's you know, it's all about love and being thankful and those kind of things. And the most imparted one word that we would teach them is, it's we, it's us, it's the team. To dive yourself, to give it up for something bigger. And in hoops, that's the team. And the Larry Johnson, CJ Miles, we had a lot of great players, and they were all about the team. And when our players went to college, I'd get so many calls from the coaches. Is this kid really like this? Because, they're all about the team. They're willing to dive themselves to give it up for what the coach wants, what the coach directs, and what's best for the team. Not what is best for CJ Miles or Larry Johnson or whoever. It's what is best for the team. And so that was those 6 be quicks. And if I can do those 6 be quicks, I can get along with people.
Yeah.
Because we value relationships. Relationships are huge. In fact, if you don't have a relationship with the big coach, it's going to be hard to get into heaven. And so in the meantime, we need to get along with people down here. And that's a little short course. I can't even remember where I got that. And I've changed it up a little bit. But
it's so good though. So good. And I love even the order of it. It really flows well. And I see the value so much in with whether it's just in class with students or with our teams. And I just from listening to you talk, I mean, I can see how a 41-year career of focusing on. I love the 2 goal part. I believe just to be honest, I've even at a place like Faith, I've focused on the 1 goal too much, focused on the basketball piece too much. And I think when you do that, the relationship piece, the players can sense it, and that relationship piece falls apart. But being a 2 goal coach, that's just a great reminder.
Well, thank you. Those 6 be quicks in this short course in human relations, if you notice the string through all 6, it's about humility. It's about others. Like the first one, I admit I made a mistake. I would tell our parents, when your players come home after practice and games, they're going to smell real good. And I'd always pause, and they'd say, well, why is that? I said, well, because they're going to shower, shave, shampoo, shine their shoes, use some deodorant and some magic food. They're going to smell real good. And if they're not flushing that commode and washing their hands and wiping down the sink, and if they don't say, I love you and thank you, you let me know, because we have a remedy for those. They'd get excited about that because they knew that their son was coming home smelling real good. Because when you put in a lot of work, you're going to sweat, perspire.
Yeah.
And we tried to make it special for those kids. And in Dallas ISD, we didn't have much resource. I think our budget was like $500 for the year. So I raised a lot of money for the kids to have, like practice shoe, a game shoe. We had a program for them. I spent a lot of time helping them get scholarships, and talking to our players what it would take to get a scholarship. You just don't show. It's what you do away from us.
Right.
We teach you a lot of hopefully good practice habits and good life habits, and you need to practice the game away from us, and you also need to practice the game of life away from us, because whatever you do in the dark, it will come to the light eventually. And so we just wanted them to have the best jobs in America, to be the best husband, be the best dad, the best employee. I taught them how to be, as you do, good employees.
Yep.
Whether it's showing up a little early, always look nice, smell good. There's just a lot of things about life. Don't be in a hurry to leave every day. Maybe work a few minutes.
Yeah. And so many great reminders. And I always, I didn't have big goals or aspirations for starting this, and because there's a lot of podcasts out there and a lot of great ones. And so I thought at the end of the day, if I just get to talk with people that I've always wanted to, and I get to learn from them, and maybe there's something that will help me to be better for my guys, then this whole thing is worth it. And this is one of those conversations where I think there's probably a lot of coaches that feel this way, that it feels like that it's less about them as people, their future as students, as husbands, as employees, and it's more about even from the parents' perspective. It just feels like they care more about the basketball and how can you help them with that, but it almost to the point where you feel like you need to not worry about the other stuff, the leadership qualities, and like what I used to do with my guys, a living without regret series, 12 different words, things like that. But and that's, I think what you're inspiring or reminding me is that we have to return to that, keep that the main thing. And obviously the basketball part is important, but thank you for that reminder. The Jamodi podcast is powered by The Laser, the most advanced basketball training system ever created. It's designed to help players develop their change of speed, pace, and direction. This state-of-the-art and award-winning technology tracks every move of your body and every bounce of the ball, while it gives you video-based instructor-led guidance through over 275 signature NBA drills, workouts, and brain exercises, scientifically proven to train the reaction time and decision-making for real in-game situations. For more information, check out handlefitness.com.
Life is just, you make it really what it is. And most of life is how you respond to all the adversity. Because adversity is going to come. It's going to come every day. My personal goal, and what I try to teach our students and players and my own kids, is don't create your adversity with stuff that you think, you say, you do. Don't create it. It's just going to come. There's going to be enough adversity that come, and you really only have two alternatives, in my opinion. You either take the low road or the high road. The low road, you get mad, discouraged, and angry, and turn to addictions. It's just a train wreck when stuff happens and you don't respond with the high road. The high road is try to do it the right way. And the right way is when somebody makes you mad, or somebody hates you, or whatever it is. Maybe you have an accident, a wreck, somebody run. There's all kind of adversity that will come.
You're right.
It's just take the high road. And the high road, the good book says, is to love your neighbor as yourself, which means that neighbor might be an enemy. They may not like you. There may be people out there that don't like the way you teach, you coach, the way you live. It doesn't make, there's just going to be adversity. And if you take the high road and you just forgive them, and that's hard to do, then the good book says not only do you forgive them, then you bless them, then you pray for them. Call their names, the people that hate you. When you're able to do that, it lightens the load. That's taking the high road. You're doing it God's way.
Yeah.
And so those are things that we would teach our students and players, as to how to respond. Like Larry Johnson, he started as a freshman, and he's 6'2", 190, and he just wanted to be the best he could be. He wanted to be the best. And so we tried to help him to get the best he could be, not only as a player, but as a person and as a student. See, all that's real important to me. And so when you take that approach, you have a lot of teaching to do.
Yeah.
And, we just didn't play with grades. We didn't change grades and go talk to teachers about changing grades, and we didn't talk to principals about changing grades. Whatever grade they gave you, that's what you got. And if you don't pass, then you don't play. And if you don't do what we ask you to do at practice, because practice is real important. Some people may not think so. I remember our friend Allen Iverson, national TV practice.
That's
practice.
Right.
What is that?
Yeah.
But it's just so important to do what you're asked to do, and we call that obedience. And we'd encourage our students and players to obey quickly, completely, and joyfully, because you're going to be doing things that you will not want to do, because it's hard work to get in shape to play basketball. Conditioning is hard work. Developing your quickness and your strength, it's hard work. It's, there's hundreds of basketball fundamentals. How are you going to, all these fundamentals, left hand, right hand, jump stops, blocking out, rebounding, how are you going to do all that? Well, it takes a lot of practice, and you have to do it the right way. And so we were just blessed that the kids bought into those things, and I'm just so proud of our former students and players that they're making a contribution for our society. When you do that, there's 6 steps to your destiny. 6 steps. It starts with your thinking. And if you thought life is not right, in Philippians 4:8, it tells us what to think about. Things that are true, honest, just, pure, lovely, things that are good report, things that are excellent, clean. And for boys, the male species in general, it's a challenge to keep your thinking right, because you get your thinking from what you're looking at and what you're listening to. Yeah. If you're looking at poo-poo and you're listening to poo-poo, that means you're probably, the second step is talking. And the third step is your actions. And so if your thinking is in order, you're thinking right, and we have a sheet for that, that they can take home and look at it. And I tell them to put these sheets up like in their bedroom, on their in the bathroom. Ask your parents or who you're living with. You can put that up, and you look at how to get along with others. So 6 be quicks.
Yeah.
You learn these different things, like the 6 steps to destiny, and it all starts with your thinking. Man, if you can keep your thinking right, the key for me is when you do get a bad thought, what do? That's the key, because if you don't take care of that bad thought, it festers.
Right.
And what happens.
Yeah. It snowballs down. Yep.
Yeah. And that means that your thinking's not right, your talking's not right, your doing's not right, your actions are not right. Then that means your repeated actions, those habits, they're not right. So that means your character's a mess. And if your character's a mess, your destiny's going to be a mess. The 6 steps is your thinking, your talking, your acting, your habits, the character, and your destiny. That's your future. And for us, we want to go to heaven.
That's right.
Yeah, and we want to make an impact on society, doing these different things of, loving others. Humility is just exalting others. And one of the things that our players really bought into, I felt like, was this humility thing. We had a lot of media coverage, whether it was radio, TV, the newspapers. I think they came not just because we had really good players, but we would teach our players that when you were complimented, you say thank you, like you do in those 6 be quicks. When somebody compliments you, say thank you, and show that gratitude of appreciation. But as soon as you do that, you divert the attention from you to your teammates, to the manager, to the fans, to your dear mom.
Yeah.
Anybody you can think of, but say thank you. But it's all about the team. It's all about my teammates. And man, they don't understand that, because it's, it's that old thing about planting, sowing and reaping. And so if you sow that one kernel of corn, you're going to reap, thousands of kernels of corn if you take care of it. If you fertilize it, you water it, and keep the weeds out. And that's the way life is. I just tried to parlay those things into life and into hoops, because if you don't practice correctly, and if you don't obey, I'd say this to them: just not only be quick to obey, and obey quickly and joyfully, but do what we ask you to do. Do as we say. Do exactly as we say. Do as we say. Do exactly as we say. Don't deviate, and we'll have a shot of executing when you do what we ask you to do on the basketball floor, in practice, in the games, and also in life. I can't tell you the number of times we went on a lot of trips too. Dallas teams didn't go on trips. And so I'd raise money for us to go out of state. People began to give to us. And I remember we'd go eat a meal like after a game in Oklahoma or Missouri. We flew to New York, expenses paid, to high school team in New York City. When you have good players and good teams. But I remember us sitting at a table eating, and we dress up on game day. It's a special day. I love those special days. They dress up, and so we'd go out to eat, and we'd be at they'd be 15 of us, 20, whatever it was. And we'd always bless the food, and I'd teach them how to sit at the table, put their left arm on the table, and just some basic things. People would come over and not only compliment them. I've had people put $100 bills, lay it down to pay for the meal.
Wow.
Because of what they observed out of those kids. And I would tell them, this is what this person we didn't even know, just because you acted right, that means you're probably thinking right, you're talking right, you're acting right, your habits are pretty good, because they would actually take showers and clean up and just do all kind of things that boys don't normally do.
Right.
And open doors for ladies and pick up trash in the hallway, those kind of things. People, I think, really respect that. So because of that, we were able to get a lot of donations to help the kids with whatever we needed help with. And as you know, there's a lot to it. You just can't do it on $500.
Yeah,
a year. And so we just tried to make it real special for them. It wasn't for me. It was for them. It was the team. When we'd win a trophy, our commitment to them was put their names on that trophy. Whatever trophy it was, we'd put their names, and the managers and the videographer, the statistician, we'd put their names on it. And if it was a championship trophy, we'd get a banner. And on that banner, their names would be on that banner. I took it off from me and put it on them. Then once it got to them, then they put it on their teammates.
Yeah.
If you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, sir. So. Coaches, the Jamodi podcast is powered by Biology. What's your BSA score? The Biology Skill Assessment is the only verified skills metric endorsed by the NIA and NJCAA to discover and develop the best talent for your team. This 10-minute, 100-shot test can be taken for free today on the Biology mobile app. Elevate your game. All those great players you had, and I think maybe a misconception is that great players just naturally are confident. But I think great players and great teams, just like anybody else, their confidence can go up and down. And so as coaches, it's hard to instill confidence when players know they shouldn't be. But if they have the right to be confident, and confidence does go up and down, as a coach, what were some things that you did to protect their confidence or help them with that?
I would try to do some positive things, just like those 6 Be Quicks after a game, during the game, but especially after the game. Even if we won, but if we lost, I'd always go to every player after a game. I'd shake every player's hand, and I'd tell them thank you. And I'd always talk to them about giving your best. Even if you didn't play a minute, or if you played a minute or 32 minutes, if you just did your best, support, like stand up when there's a substitution, everybody stands up, everybody claps.
Yeah.
Things like that. If you gave your best, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for that. And in practice, when you can't practice perfectly, but that was our goal, is to try to excel at whatever we were doing on the fundamentals. If you're right-handed, to be able to do it with your left. If you left, do it with your right. On defense, we're always trying to influence to their, non-dominant hand. Just encouraging them. And if they were deficient in areas, tell them things that they really need to work on. Stay a little later. If you need to get stronger, if you need to work on your jumping. We had plow boxes. We had the machines, and we were able to buy those things, jump ropes and heavy ropes. We purchased a lot of different products to try to help the kids to get where they wanted to be, because most of those kids, like Larry, he was from Dixon Circle projects, and he wanted. There's great people everywhere, but he wanted out of that particular environment. Mm-hmm. He wanted to excel and reach the peak, and for him it was NBA. And
he's pretty good.
When he first came in fact, his mom, he lived in Lincoln's district, and back then, Dallas ISD, they had a program that they call it, if you're a majority race, your ethnicity, your race, at your home high school, wherever you live, you could transfer to a school that your race was in the minority. And I watched Larry play in middle school. I watched C.J. Miles play in middle school, but I didn't recruit either one of them. I just don't do that. I went and watched a lot of kids play, but I just didn't do that. And before Larry's senior year, Miss Johnson calls, and she said, Coach, she called him DD. His middle name is Dimitri, Larry Dimitri Johnson. She said, can DD and I, in fact, I got a call from the switchboard there at school and said, there's a Miss Johnson on the phone. So I took it, and she said, I want to come talk to you. So they came and sat down, and she said, DD, I don't know this man, and you don't know this man, but to talk on the streets of Dixon Circle, he's going to make you a better person, player, and student. She said, DD, you're going to play for this man. My eyes got like that big. And he said, you understand that? He said, yes, ma'am, I do. She said, and DD, I understand he runs a pretty tight ship. They work real hard. You're not going to whine, moan, gripe, or complain. You understand that, DD? He said, yes, ma'am. Then she looked at me and she said, and Coach, I won't whine, moan, gripe, or complain.
Wow.
Because the talk on the streets, the talk on the streets was, and I don't deserve all that adulation. I just had a program. We had a program that I thought was the best for the kids. Not that everybody could excel at that, but it was a pretty tight ship. but I wanted them. In fact, she said, I understand. Y'all dress up on game day. I said, yes, ma'am, it's a special day. I said, but we have a lot of extra neckties. You know, we just have a lot of extra neckties, belts, and shirts and stuff if somebody needed them. And I said, we got plenty of that. She said, oh, no, I'll get a couple tonight. And she called me the next day. The reason I know this, she said, Coach, I just wanted you to know I got DD 2 neckties. I said, that's awesome. She said, I went to the Goodwill. And this got my heart right here.
Mm-hmm.
She said, I went to the Goodwill. 25 cents. She worked 2 jobs. In fact, on the way to her jobs, she'd had to carry water with her to put in the radiator. You know, Zig Ziglar, his words move me. Well, Miss Johnson, her words move me. And she's deceased now, but she loved her coach. I loved her. And we tried to do that with as many parents and supporters, you know, that we had. And I'm just real indebted. The kids that played for us, they came legitimately either through, you know, the Dallas ISD. Skyline was the first magnet school like in America. So they offered a lot of different programs, but you had to have certain scores to get there and behavior and those kind of things. Then you had to make the team as well. But I'm just so blessed to have that opportunity. I'm convinced, Coach Saban, that education, you know, the teaching, the coaching, is the greatest profession and ministry in the world, because they're yours for that hour. For an hour, they're with you, whether you're teaching them history, PE, science, whatever it is, coaching hoops. Coaching hoops, they'll be with you 2 or 3 hours, 6 days a week.
Yeah.
And it's just a great opportunity to make a difference in the lives of young people. And see, I can remember over, I guess, 57 years ago, I had a teacher that told me I was special. Other people might have said it, but when she said it in front of my dad, it went to my heart, my mind, and my soul. And I looked at things differently. That this teacher believed in me. So what do you think? I stayed in touch with all these years. I got to speak at her service, at her funeral back a few months ago. I'd call her, send her roses occasionally, cards. She retired in Galveston. My wife and I went twice. Why did we go? I just wanted to tell that lady, what's the 2 most important words? Thank you. What's the 3 most important words? I love you. I want to tell her I love you and thank you. And I've tried to pass it on. So I will try. My goal, I would say to young people, players, you are special. You were fearfully and wonderfully created by the big coach.
By the big coach.
By the big coach. To serve him and others. And that's humility, see, when you put others first, when you exalt and honor others. And that's what we were really all about. It's just, I would do announcements. I wouldn't do them, but I'd send in announcements, you know, the next day, game days, to compliment the team and call out different names. And we just did a lot of things. We just wanted to have a spirit of excellence, of supporting our students and players and making them feel special and telling them they were special. It just became a part of our fabric and hopefully a part of their fabric. And the results that we've been able to get back from all these, my first 5 years I was assistant coach, and that's where I learned about FCA and Zig Ziglar. And that's, and even those kids, I mean, they still stay in contact. They remember those FCA camps that we went to. It's just people remember how you treat them and make them feel.
Yeah.
They may forget a bunch of other things, but they will remember how you treat them and make them feel. And to be able to shake their hands, I tried to give them high five, shake their hands, we didn't do the bumps, but every kid that I saw that came in the classroom just tried to just make it personal. Mm-hmm. Make it personal. And that's the reason I think it's one of the greatest ministries in the world. Billy Graham, he said that a coach will influence more people like in a year than the average person in their lifetime. And that's probably true because they're there. They're yours.
Yeah, we really have to take advantage. And I think that's a great reminder that you've given all of us today. I mean, because at this point in time, when you and I are talking, it's about a week or two from this new school year. And so there's a lot of excitement and you're thinking about all the ways that you're going to reach. But then, you go 2-3 months into it and things start to become more the process, and you're just kind of doing the same thing over and over, but you gotta remember your why and that purpose that you talked about, and every day, and not to let a day go by where you don't strive to influence the best that you can. And so what a powerful reminder from you, Coach.
Well, thank you. I had to practice smiling before I'd get into the schoolhouse because I didn't want my burdens to be on them. And you never know what they're going through. So I wanted to be happy.
Yeah.
Smile. I wanted to be ready to handshake. Larry Johnson taught me the 2-arm hug. 2-arm hug. Yeah.
What's the 2-arm hug?
You just embrace. Yeah. Embrace. Yeah. The 2-arm hug. Yeah.
Like that.
It's pretty powerful. Anyway, I did that with our players and things. And I'm just so thankful.
The Jamodi podcast is powered by Skyline Interactive. Skyline Interactive is the leading manufacturer for high-quality, innovative scoring tables and LED video display boards that help coaches and schools bring more excitement to fans, create huge fundraising opportunities, and make their jobs easier. Visit sidelineinteractive.com to check out their amazing products. What's one thing you would do differently if you could start over today?
Our goal was to put the students and players a priority, and I think sometimes I didn't maybe love enough, maybe wasn't kind enough. Always have tried to be that way. Maybe didn't shake enough of hands. Every day when you're with hundreds of kids, it's real easy to get caught up in your own life instead of their lives. I remember I had perfect attendance, and as an educator, when I left Skyline, I had enough of days for like nearly 2 years. It's what I was told, like a year and a half, something like that. Just a lot of days. And so I would rush to different events from class. I had to get somebody to cover my class, rush to those like a funeral. And because I thought it was real important, to be at functions like that, for the students and players and my own family. And I think sometimes I might have maybe didn't put my own family. Maybe, it's hard to balance all that out. And I remember my kids were playing. I'd try to go to their games. Sometimes I could just go for a few minutes, then have to go back to the team. But then later, I got some really effective assistant coaches. And like when my son was playing in college, I was able to go to some of his games because I had some really outstanding assistant coaches, and the players understood about it as well. That I wanted to see my own family.
Yeah.
Be with my own family, and it's just sometimes very challenging to balance it out. I'd go to school sick and teach and coach. Yeah, I mean I just never missed, and I'd probably run out of energy, but I'd still drink a lot of water and get up early and go to bed late, and probably if I had it to do over again, I would maybe put more emphasis, on the bride and on the children.
That balance piece is, we want our players to have balance, but then sometimes we don't have that balance ourselves.
Yes, and it's quite a challenge getting all that done, because as a coach, leadership is just influence. That's the bottom line for leadership, and coaches have that opportunity, as you well know, how they're usually highly respected. And three of the most important things you can do as a dad, as a coach, in my opinion, is to love. Going back to that, I love you. Love your players, love your own family. Number two, coach them up. We're real quick to critique, and we do need to critique. But there's a way to do it more gently than so harshly. And I never used profanity. I didn't think it was necessary. I didn't think it glorified and honored the big coach. So I just didn't use profanity. But I think loving your players and your family, your children, and loving them unconditionally. Because sometimes your players are they're gonna mess up. Sometimes your children are gonna mess up. So love them unconditionally. Just be there for them, for your players and for your family. Coach them up, and when you do critique, use some common sense. Sometimes I probably didn't use as much as I should have. Then thirdly is to be a great role model, because whatever you do as a coach and whatever you do as a father, your children, your players will have a tendency to do the same thing, whatever it is. And that's another reason that I just didn't want to put bad stuff in my body. I didn't want to put bad stuff in my mind. That stuff that you put in your body, it'll kill you. And that bad stuff you put in your mind, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. The battlefield is your mind.
Yep.
If it gets you thinking, then you start putting stuff in your body that's not good for you. Yeah. And I would talk to them about that, how dangerous, the alcohol, the drugs, tobacco, whatever it is, it's you want to put good stuff. You want good nutrition. You want things that'll help your body, because there's a lot of work left to be done on this, and we can't do it if we're 6 feet under.
That's right. Yeah, Mano Watsa, the president of PGC, I heard him say one time, more is caught than taught. And I don't think that's just from him, but I think that's a great reminder for us as coaches and parents that more of what they remember from us is going to be what they see us do, how we treat people, how we act, rather than what we told them to do. And more is caught than taught. So another great reminder, Coach.
Oh yeah, that's good. I like that.
Again, amazing time that you gave right there. But I do want to finish with the speed round, and so many people know you, but this is a way for us to really get to know you. So quick questions. The first thing that pops in your head, just blurt it out. You ready?
Like one word? Is it one or two words?
It could be one. Yeah, short. So I'll start you off. Favorite ice cream flavor?
All of them.
All of them. Love that. Okay.
chocolate, homemade vanilla.
Love it.
I love all food.
For high school, shot clock or no shot clock?
No shot clock.
I'm going to go back to that one. I'll just so remember that. Texting or talking?
Talking.
Favorite holiday?
Ooh, probably Christmas, Easter.
Okay.
Birth and the death.
I love that. This one I'm interested to hear. Invisibility or super strength? If you could choose one.
Ooh.
If you were going to be a superhero, and you had invisibility or super strength, what would you choose?
I'm leaning toward invisible.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you could travel back in time, what period would you go to?
I love it the way that it is.
Okay. Love it. How many cups of coffee do you drink in a day?
0.
Never, even when you were coaching?
Never.
Okay. Last one, and I'm curious.
Water and milk.
Water and milk. There you go.
Orange juice.
Last question. Godfather or Star Wars?
I don't know much about any of that.
Any of the movies? Either of those movies? Never.
I don't do many movies.
Okay.
I don't have many hobbies. It's just really people is my hobby, I guess.
I love that.
That's what people have told me. I don't fish. My daddy was a hunter, fisherman. He was a cowboy. He loved all that. I just kind of got hooked on this education.
People and hoops and education. That's it.
Yeah.
That's a good stuff. Hey, I got to circle back around to the shot clock. You're one of the few that have said no shot clock, and I want to give you an opportunity to explain.
Well, I wouldn't be totally opposed to a shot clock. You just adjust what you have. I remember ESPN calling me when they put the 3-point shot in.
Yeah.
And I jokingly, I don't know if they understood I was joking. I said, I think that's a communist plot. Because, it has changed a lot of things. Everything you make different, it can change the game a lot. But I wouldn't be totally opposed to a shot clock. In fact, we had to play with that in New York City when we went to New York City, and maybe when we might have gone to Missouri, we might have had to play with a shot clock. It's different.
Yeah.
Playing with the shot clock as well. But I think it takes some of the strategy possibly away.
I do. I heard one coach say that it gives teams with lesser talent,
yes,
less options to stay competitive. And I think that's one of the best arguments for no shot clock, because if you're the better team, then you want more possessions anyway, and more possessions will come from them being forced to shoot fast.
Yes.
Well, Coach, this was incredible.
Well,
well, I'm telling you, I learned so much, and again, from knowing you over the years, but now feeling like I understand more about who you were as a coach and who you are as a person, and why you're so successful, and why so many people hold you in such high regard. I really see it.
It's to God be the glory on anything on this end, and I am totally serious. And any accolades that we have received, and that gym at Skyline, that ought to be Larry Johnson, C.J. Miles gym. Any of the accolades is because of the players, and I really feel that way. Very appreciative of any of the honors, but it's really, if your players don't buy in, I call it totally competitive.
Yes, sir.
Giving everything, doing what you ask them to do, then it just gives you a better chance of having better teams when they do. and you do need a coach, but those players are just so valuable.
Yeah.
Like coaching you in an all-star game and all those other. Yeah. But thank you for those kind comments. But it is, to God be the glory.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you so much for your time. I know a lot of coaches are going to love this and get a lot out of it like I did. So really appreciate it, Coach.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. And I'm sure very proud of you. And you keep doing what you're doing because you've got some great habits, great character. Yes. And your destiny, it's awesome.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the Jamodi Podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.